Alright, welcome to the Hail to the King podcast. Today we're going to Theorycraft a little bit. What I had in mind was previous to the reread of It, I had a kind of a unformed theory about stuttering Bill Denbrough and kind of why he stutters. I kind of had an idea of reverb, I think it's called reverb, which is, when sound will come right after itself. Like if you have two speakers and they're slightly out of sync, it kind of creates like a stuttering effect. And sometimes even there'll be like a put on headphones type thing where you wear the headphones and you play back your own voice at a slightly different, like a delay, and it'll cause you to stutter, like inadvertently. Have you ever tried that?
I've never tried that.
I'll have to show you. It's pretty neat. Anyways, it got me thinking about Bill and why he stutters, and also why he's the leader of the group, and, all that. So, one of my, kind of to get us going on this theory, is both the childhood experience and the adult experience exists simultaneously in the storytelling form. Almost, and in King books we know that, if a story is being told, it might be someone channeling, the story, let's say, to write it down. Like, let's say King is...
Yeah, King is kind of the... Oh my gosh, kind of the host for this... What would you call it? Inspiration. He hears the song of the turtle, that kind of overtakes him, and then all he does is just write it down. He's the scribe.
He's a prophet of sorts.
Yeah.
So
he might like that.
But yeah, and if we look at it that way, Bill is a child and Bill is an adult. Both exist simultaneously in storytelling form. So there's going to be some overlap. And again, the story kind of does the same thing where their adult lives and their kid lives kind of overlap a little bit and kind of sync up, they're dealing with Henry here. They're dealing with, going to confront Pennywise. They're going to the sewers to confront him. And kind of had an idea of, for some reason, he's sensitive to that experience, existing on two planes of existence at the same time. And that might create that reverb, that echo that might kind of make him stutter. And I guess what it brings me to is when the ritual of Chud is Chud.
I think it's Chud. Well,
Chud.
That's how Stephen Weber. It doesn't matter. Chud, Chud,
Chud,
Chad,
Chud. So in the ritual, they bite down on each other's tongues, let's say, and
the demon and whoever's performing the ritual, they each bite down on each other's tongues.
Yeah, and it's almost like a grounding, like a syncing up, where if, let's say, his tongue was having trouble, he was stuttering because of that duality, that focus, let's say focus, like there's a focusing moment when they're doing the ritual, and other times as well when he's like channeling some sort of power through the turtle or whatever. I remember there's a part in the Barons where he's impersonating Henry Bowers, and he doesn't have a stutter while he's doing that. I mean, I don't know if it's 100%. Again, this is kind of an unformed, partially formed theory, but when they're doing the ritual, there's no more stutter. And when he goes into that kind of netherworld, the macroverse.
Yeah.
It's the stutter's gone. He's able to get out of the plane of existence that he was on and exist on another one, and kind of focus that.
I don't know. Maybe focus himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about it. It's like you said, he's out of sync with himself, and so when he does kind of get himself into sync, he is the upgraded version of Bill. Mm-hmm. He's his strongest version, and so that's what I think.
And again,
holds him back as his little stutter, and when when that goes away, it's not saying that he can't be strong with his stutter, but the times that he is strongest is, when his stutter is completely gone, when he's fighting, Pennywise. There's that saying, he thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. And, like, when he can yell that out, it's like, I'm here. I am the fully formed, strongest version of myself. He's the fully formed, strongest version of Bill. And at that point, that's when he's a threat to Pennywise.
And with their first confrontation, he ends up being the one who saves the day, who defeats Pennywise. And yeah, they don't finish him off. But with the second trip as an adult, when he goes there and starts up the ritual, things go a little bit differently.
Like what we were talking about earlier.
With Richie stepping in. And Richie's interesting because he almost, instead of being like a duality, he almost doesn't have, he channels his power almost the same way Pennywise does, which is through impersonation, and when he's doing especially the cop's voice, the Irish cop, it's like that seems to be when he's the most powerful. Yeah. And
or really when he's doing any. I was listening today, so I'm on my second trip around, and he does this. He calls it, this African American impression, and he's like, it's not really any one person. It's just something that came out. But he fully enveloped that voice, and it saved him.
They're the characters that he believes most in. Again, one of the things about the book is like the power of belief. Like
that's what
belief in the ritual,
Pennywise.
belief in exactly.
Belief in yourself, like what you can do, your own strength,
the inner power.
And so that's why I think. I don't know, Richie's really interesting in that he is like Pennywise. Richie impersonates people with his voice, and he sort of he becomes that voice, that persona. Pennywise does it physically, and he does impersonate people's voices and stuff, but he does it physically, and one is through belief in these voices and giving them strength and power and life. That's Richie. And then Pennywise does it through fear. He takes your fear and then becomes that fear, and that's what powers him, is that fear. At least, just kind of the theory, kind of what I'm thinking is it's like a big puzzle we're trying to shove together.
Out of the Losers Club, each member kind of has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it is interesting to see that Richie is on the opposite end of the spectrum from Pennywise, not saying Richie's anything close to like Dandelo from Dark Tower, but he kind of has like a hero version of what Dandelo does, the whole yucking it up and getting the laughs. I mean, he's more akin to like Eddie, Eddie Dean. The fight with Blaine the Mono is pretty similar to the fight with Pennywise at the end. I mean, not exactly, obviously, but kind of interesting, the ritual of Chud and the Dark Tower with the Wastelands and Eddie Dean. It's pretty similar.
It is very similar. And again, but instead of riddles, it's jokes.
Yeah. And it's funny, you have the leader of the group, Roland, in that regard, having to give it up to Eddie,
In kind of the same way that Bill has to give it up to Richie. Well, Richie comes in and saves the day because Bill's kind of still not. I don't know. When they've kind of latch on to each other's mental tongues, Bill kind of falters, and that's when he starts to, kind of falter and everything. And then Richie comes up out of nowhere, and he's like, he doesn't even know how, but he's like, I got him by the tongue. And
so holding the tiger by the tail.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Except, what's interesting is that the, biting each other's tongue, I didn't realize this till now. you're both vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting each party, Pennywise as well as, you know, Richie or Bill, they put themselves in a position of vulnerability and weakness. So that's interesting. Anyways.
It's kind of another little funny bonus to that is one of my least favorite things that Stephen King does, and I've talked to you about it before, is the biting one's tongue, you know, and the fact that for the ritual, it's both characters biting each other's tongues. It's like, but yeah, that's kind of a Stephen King trope that drives me. You know, it's a, you know, everybody does it, but I think Stephen King, whenever he references a character having to bite their tongue and bite so hard that it's bleeding and stuff, I kind of roll my eyes a little bit. Just one of those, like, come on. But yeah, totally unbelievable. I don't like it, but as well as the laughing in inappropriate times, like,
which Beverly Marsh does.
Yeah, a little bit, but anyways, so this was kind of just a theory crafting session. You know, we don't really have any real concrete evidence to back up any of our claims. We kind of wanted to reach out to you guys and say, you know, is there anything that you know of that we're either missing that might debunk our theory on, you know, Bill and Richie specifically being sensitive to kind of duality, and the duality of storytelling. You know, you've got the adult and the childhood thing happen at the same time. Anyways, if you guys have any information that supports this or debunks it, you know, we'd love to know, you know, or any other insights.
Yeah, because with this one, it could go so many ways. And those are just some thoughts. It's not even. I think we're gonna refine this theory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see kind of where it goes because it's still kind of a big puzzle we're figuring out. So any help we could.
But
get
we'll throw out
a
few of these short episodes for you guys. You know, just to kind of get a taste of the book club. We're looking at the main episode to be about, you know, between 30 and 45 minutes is what we're looking at. But we'll do a few of these little mini episodes and just throw them up and see what you think. We're looking at getting our main episode out before Halloween. So keep on the lookout for that. Follow us on Instagram. You know, we'll keep you up to date day by day, new posts, funny things, insights, you know, that kind of thing. And
remember to subscribe also.
Yeah, you know, I know you're here now, but head over to our YouTube page, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazz, because your support means a lot and it'll keep us doing this. So, yeah.
Anyways, I think that's it for today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and always remember the other world.